Hi everyone, my name is Marta and welcome to Imperfect Life Balance. On my channel, you can expect videos about productivity, time management, and any area that is related to achieving that work-life balance that you desire. So in today's video, we're actually going to talk about the concept of work-life balance, what it means, and some common misconceptions that might be holding you back. So the first misconception is related to the actual term work-life balance. I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on that word balance. And I will admit that I was one of those people. I used to imagine the work-life balance as this old-fashioned scale where you have work on one side and life on the other, and it's just perfectly balanced every single day. And obviously that is not the case. We cannot be looking at the work-life balance from a daily perspective. To me, work-life balance is, the best analogy I could come up with is if you are a waitress working in a restaurant and you carry this, ginormous round tray on your hand. And each trip is different, right? You're depending on how many people are at the table, depending, if you are serving one or two or, 15 tables at the same time, your trips are gonna look different. Some trips, maybe it's a slow day and you're serving just one table. So you're gonna be carrying 2 plates and maybe perhaps 2 glasses from one table to the kitchen. And that trip is gonna be quick. You won't have to think about it much, just put the plates, walk quickly to the kitchen and move on. But on the days when you are very busy, maybe you have 7 tables that you are waiting on and you're trying to be more efficient, you try to be more strategic. You probably put more things on that tray. And that requires you some more, balancing act, if you will. So because every trip is different, that's kind of how I view the work-life balance. Every day is gonna be different for us. We cannot expect to have this perfect balance every single day. It's more of looking at the work-life balance from a high-level perspective. So look at it from a monthly perspective, look at it from an annual perspective, and see how satisfied you are with both your career, what you do at work, and with everything that is outside of it. We are never gonna have a perfect work-life balance. It just doesn't exist. It's about making sure that we are happy with what we're doing and that we are looking at it from that high-level perspective. So to give you an example, when I think about the time when I had my firstborn, after 6 weeks of maternity leave, I went back to work. During that time, my main concentration was honestly at home. I had a newborn. I was exhausted. I was, just trying to learn what parenting was all about. So at work, I was still doing what I was supposed to be doing. However, I was not seeking, some extra opportunities to work on some specific projects. I was not looking to take some extra training during that time. And that's because my balance was kind of shifted towards responsibilities at home. And to give you another example from the work perspective, for people like, let's say, accountants, their busiest times are probably, January to April, right? That is the time when their balance is kind of shifting towards the work area because they're probably dedicating a lot of time to their job. And this is the time when they would not choose to go, let's say, on a family vacation because that wouldn't be feasible. That their concentration is at work versus, maybe during summer months, they can switch back and dedicate more time to their family. So you see what I'm saying? It depending on where you are in your life, depending on your type of work you're doing, depending on the age of your kids, your balance is gonna look different. The second common misconception that I see is that work-life balance is related to you being able to do everything. And that is absolutely false. A few weeks ago, I came across this great quote from David Allen, and it says, "You can do anything. However, you cannot do everything." And that is so true. And I think especially women tend to do that we think we need to do absolutely everything in every area of our life for us to be happy with what we're doing and for us to have that work-life balance, right? We have to be overachievers at work. We have to participate in every single PTO activity at school. We have to have a home-cooked meal every evening. We just keep on adding stuff to our plate. And when we do that, what is gonna happen is, imagine that waitress with that tray. You will trip over. There's no question about that. You're gonna get exhausted both physically and mentally from trying to do everything. So something has to give. Work-life balance is not about adding to your tray that you're carrying. It is about choosing what is important for you and concentrating on that. The third misconception is kind of going along with what I just discussed. And it's about the fact that we tend to believe, based on what we see on social media, that some people have it all together and we don't. We see celebrities, we see influencers, or we might be even seeing our friends on social media. And based on what they post, we might think that they really have it all together, that they have it all figured out, and then we kind of feel bad about what we're doing because we feel like we are just a hot mess express. So I promise you that that is not the case. Nobody has it all together. Everybody has a different lifestyle. Everybody has different responsibilities. Just because you see a snippet of somebody else's life on social media, it does not mean that this is how their life looks like. Everybody has their own struggles. So I promise you, nobody has it all figured out. Everybody is just like you, trying every day to live the best life that they can. The fourth misconception about the work-life balance is us thinking that if people around us are happy, then we are doing it right, that we have a handle on this work-life balance. So what I mean by that, if you are a working mom like I am, if your boss is happy with your performance, if you and your spouse are happy with the relationship that you have, if you are satisfied with the amount of quality time you spend with your kids, then everything is all good. However, what we tend to forget in this whole equation of work-life balance is ourselves. Are we happy? Do we have enough time for ourselves to do the things that we want to do for ourselves, not for other people, but for ourselves? So things like self-care, things like hobbies, things like following a dream that we might have, but are holding back because we are too busy kind of doing everything else. So if you want to work on that work-life balance, make sure you put yourself into that equation. Because if you don't, ultimately you will experience that mental burnout, that you're gonna find yourself not happy with yourself, not happy with your life, and that is obviously not what you want. So make sure you don't forget about yourself. And the last misconception that I want to talk about is this idea that work-life balance is gonna look the same for everyone. And what I mean by that, I myself like to see what other people are doing. I like to see the tips they're offering on different topics like productivity or work-life balance or how to be more effective. And that is awesome because that's how you kind of get ideas. However, what we should not be doing is believing that if we apply everything that the other person is doing, that we are gonna be as successful as they are. So if you watch somebody else's video and they're telling you, I do X, Y, and Z to have a great balance, you really have to take a step back and see, can this be applied to your lifestyle? Because again, everybody is different. You have a different family dynamic. You have a different type of career. You have different circumstances. So what works for them might not work for you. So go ahead and get inspiration from other people and try it out. But if it doesn't work for you, don't beat yourself up that you did something wrong. It's just that your lifestyle is different than somebody else's. So those are all the misconceptions about work-life balance I wanted to discuss. I'm gonna link some YouTube videos down below, as well as some books that do talk about this topic. As far as the balancing act, about you not being able to do everything, and the idea of making sure that you include yourself into this work-life balance equation. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it and consider subscribing down below so you don't miss any of my future ones. Thank you!